Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. Hope you had a good meal. And now to feel invigorated and energized and want to listen to me. Why the good point? Why cybersecurity or risk management? There's a good reason why I'm kind of provoking this conversation because, like mentioned, I've been doing this for a while, and quite often it seems to be a conversation about either or. So in general terms, in business we talk a lot about risk management. It's a natural piece of how we run our business, how we weigh the risks that might impact our business, and then we have the group of people who do cybersecurity. Very rarely are we talking about the same conversation. So in many cases, what I'm trying to provoke here is it should all be led one after another. If we work on risk management, we put visibility into our risk, we focus on what kind of risks do we have, how do we categorize them. That should be a natural lead to cybersecurity to influence those identified risks and works towards a mutual goal. So 2017 was really, really tough. Now I'm going to pick on two of the events that are on the screen right now, where on one, I would go as far as to say that I believe, this is not based on told knowledge, but I believe that for their business, their risk posture was never really deep dived into. There might be the very basic business drivers that were discussed, but the conversation about the impact to their business, about getting exposed for not protecting their customers' data wasn't explored far enough. The ramifications to their reputation and the financial impact that they needed to carry with it. So let's assume they did risk management and did map their risk and put priorities that this is a really bad thing. Then I would go as far as to say, well, if they identified that risk, they surely did not invest to mitigate that risk. There's another one on this screen that I'm quite sure, I'm not 100%, but I think has been referred to in previous conversations that I want to bring as challenging that they actually did a magnificent job in mapping their risks. And that's to do with the NotPetya event that happened, and specifically the client named Maersk. Now, we all know about it because they went public with it. They were very open about it. They informed their clients and everyone about what's going on, what the impact is, what are we doing, what's our remediation timeline. Now, bad things happen. A lot of money was lost. They were paralyzed for a while. Were they prepared for this risk? Now, again, based on my belief, my answer is yes. This was a risk that was taken in account. Have they invested into mitigating that risk? Again, I would go as far as to say most likely. Now, did the risk that eventually came to realization, was that something no one really was prepared for? Absolutely yes. So the thing is, if we look at what happened right after that risk came to reality, it's absolutely beautiful. From day one, they knew how will we handle the situation. Communication was absolutely beautiful. Everyone knew what is expected from them. So regardless of them getting into the news, them losing a lot of money, having issues getting the big containers to the airports and so forth, I would go as far as to say that their reputation is now stronger due to the fact that that risk was mapped. Did they buy a thing to prevent the thing? In this case, no one knew what the thing was. But I can guarantee that they did a good job in trying to map what would happen then. Anywho, so big things, container ships, credit information, complex companies, different countries. Let me pull the conversation to something I would assume we can all relate to, and something that you might have gotten acquainted to just before you came here. Let's talk about a glass of milk. So, digitalization is everywhere. It's a good thing. It's a big word, it's a good thing. I love digitalization. I was very surprised when you combine the word digitalization and milk on how many links we have. So, our family drinks milk. Most of your families most likely drink milk or eat cheese or whatever. The point which I'm making here is, when we start thinking about how did that glass of milk ever appear on our table or the carton in our fridge? So we go to the very beginnings. First, there was a cow. Cows have sensors in them to make sure that they're very healthy, to make sure that when they're calving, that the farmers know that they need to pay attention to make sure that they get healthy animals. Cows need medication. Medication dosages are controlled with IoT devices. So we have an IoT cow, IoT medicine, and it's controlled. They have grass, feed, water. That is produced in controlled environments to make sure that none of the pesticides used or any other additives are something that might be translated from the cow to the milk, from the milk to us. Barn? Now, this is the interesting thing. Barns are phenomenally sophisticated things. The romantic movies I've been seeing with a barn with wood-laden edges and people milking them, oh, that's way far off. So there's a lot of IoT. There's apps. There are apps that the farmer can actually see. Are we producing the quantities that we should be producing? Is everything in the chain all the way to the container secure? Is everything fine? Is the barn secure? So fair enough. Digitalization. IoT. Milking equipment, just referred to that. Heavily digitalized, IoT-driven benefits, cost savings, simplicity, efficiency. Fair enough. Storage. Big container. Outside, a lot of milk. You have the quantities. Whichever provider needs that milk knows that this farm has X amount of liters of milk. Transportation, a truck comes over, most likely through a driving schedule with GPS, logistics chain information, to gather the milk, put it in the transportation, and make sure that the chain is not disrupted in any part of the delivery to the facilities where it's, again, put on storage. Again, we look at temperatures, we look at levels, IoT. Processing, very, very closely monitored process. IoT, digitalization, efficiency, the best milk in the world. Packaging, kind of the same thing, right? Again, we know how much, how many, which batch, which date, and so forth, and so forth, and so forth. Where is this going? Where is this not going? And so forth. Digital footprint. Delivery, again, you pack it on the truck, you know it's this batch, going to this car, that takes it to that store, who receives it, stamps it, we have your milk now, we're very happy campers, we're gonna put it on the shelf, again, we're gonna cool store it, we're gonna sell it to the consumers, again, swipe, you lose your money, you get milk, they get money, they lose milk. Storage, you put it in the fridge. Some of you people might have IoT fridges. We have a booth there. If someone would want to come over and explain me why, I would be very keen to know. And consumption, we drink the milk. So, the chain, cow, medication, everything. So, what happens if someone tampers in any part of the said process? Someone changes the medication. Now we have quantities or qualities that should not reside in the cow. We have tainted milk. We will lose the storage we have because the only option you have, if you're not sure, you need to drop the whole storage amount. You need to clean everything. What happens if you only find out when it goes to the individual who's processing or the company that's processing? They literally need to purge all of the milk they have in storage, not necessarily because it's tainted, but because they can't be sure. What about barn? Imagine waking up one morning, going to your barn and notice someone broke the door. Nothing's missing. The cow seems happy. There's milk going to the container, but you don't know. Could someone have tampered with something? You don't know. Was it someone just being a nuisance? Was it someone looking for a place to sleep? Or was it someone with a huge anarchistic vegan mentality wanting to ruin your business? Well, you don't know. The whole chain just broke. You need to purge. You need to get new milk. You need to clean everything. Everything's going to cost something. So, this is now our delivery chain. Now let's go the easy way and think about the risks that you might have business-wise towards milk. So yeah, loss of material. You need to purge everything. You just lost the whole batch. If it happens at the farm, thousands of liters. If it happens at the processing plant, millions of liters. Very unfortunate, expensive. Production stoppage. What if you do not have the raw material to process in the equipment where you process it with? Again, in milk industry, not really a specialist in that. In steel industry, I would assume that if you have the big furnaces, the melting thingies, and you don't have raw materials, you need to switch it off. You can't have them running empty. How much is it going to cost to need to restart everything? So, production stoppage. Very bad financial impact. Inability to deliver. So, again, because of loss of materials, production stoppage, what have you. People don't get milk. Let's say you have 2 days disruption in your ability to produce milk. I wonder how many days the impact is going to be on the consumers not able to get milk, because if it's a stoppage of 2 days, they're not going to kind of cross over that missing quota. The production levels are what they are. So maybe the consumer is going to have an impact of about 5 days. So reputational damage. And for me, the last, which has an impact on everything above, what if I get the batch that someone at some point tampered, something in the process broke, or we have a very unhealthy cow, and I drink it? Or let's put it even worse, and way more personal and painful for me. What if my kid drinks it? That ramification, I think by far, there is not an amount of euros that would cover that for me, but it is going to have a reputational impact. So yeah, fair enough. Milk. Who knew? I sure as heck didn't, because this is the first time I've ever actually explored how do you get the milk into the store. And that is probably oversimplification of it, but fair enough. So, fair enough. Secure the milk. How do we make sure the milk is good, the milk is healthy? That's the normal cycle we would use to mitigate risk, but let's just simplify it. Business risk. Map your business. Understand your business. What are your motivators? Where do you get your money from? What would be the high impact items in your business? You are the expert of your business. The only thing we can do to help is facilitate the conversation. Understand your delivery chain. Understand what risk, what third-party external risks you would be carrying that might impact point number one. Now, and I understand, there are business decision makers here go like, oh, that's way oversimplification. Yes, it is. It is for the sake of 30 minutes. And it's for the sake of, I do cyber, I really don't know how dairy works. But hey, you map your business risks. You put them on the map. This is going to be really, really annoying. This is going to be dangerous. This is us finding a new job because the company I worked for no longer exists. Let's go back to Maersk. If they would not have prepared for that risk, could the end game be that we no longer have a Maersk? How long could they have sustained a complete stoppage of ability to ship anything. But fair enough. Now, prioritize and categorize risks. Understand what's really, really important, not necessarily very likely. What's medium importance, very likely, and so forth and so forth. You get the gist, right? So this is the key, and this gets back to 2017. Invest and implement accordingly. So don't buy the thing because of the thing. Don't implement a firewall because you want a firewall. Don't use your budget, which always will be limited. Sadly, for me, it will always be limited. Think about, this is my budget, these are my priorities, these are the key things, the 3 things that will most impact my cyber risk, and distribute your cyber budget accordingly to mitigate the most likely risk. And what you might find out, the technology wasn't actually the technology we needed because the thing didn't really fix the thing, right? So, what do we need to do? Cyber risk. So, risk, cyber risk, and I think I did it the right way around. Yeah, I did. Cyber risk. Do not fear the digital world. It's a bit of a curse word in cybersecurity quite often. Do we actually need an app for that? Do we need a fridge with IoT? I don't know, maybe. Do not fear it. This is where we're going to go. Applications rule the world and run the world. The benefits, the cost savings, the efficiencies by far outweigh the problems that they cause. So fair enough, embrace it. It accelerates and creates new business. Yeah, well, I just mentioned it. Map digital or digitalization to the identified risks on the previous one and make the smart investments. Put the money where it will support your risk posture, which you've mapped and understood the best, and make sure you get the best bang for your euro. So, this is cutting a bit short, which allows Q&A. So, we are IBM Security. This is the conversation we want to have with you. The conversation needs the person who understands your business, that is you. What we can do is facilitate the conversation, help you map the risks, and help you design the solution that will best impact the risk. Technology will come later. First risk, then cybersecurity. From my point of view, thank you.
Done.
Beautiful.
Give him a big hand.
Thank you so much.
Lovely. Done.
So
very effectively, you did it under the time. You thought you would not have enough time for Q&A.
Yeah.
But let's take
it was
a very,
my manager who said you're never going to make it.
But hey, you have more than enough time, and actually, I'd like to tackle, after talking about resilience that we talked about yesterday, you're talking about resilience again today, which is fascinating. But one important thing is your inability to understand why we would want an IoT fridge.
Yes.
Now, there are tens of reasons why it would make sense to have IoT in your fridge. Can you not see any, really? None.
I'm really trying.
Okay, here, I have a few for you.
Okay.
One is you need different sensors in your fridge to find out the exact temperature at which it is in real time. Sometimes it gets too cold or too hot, and you want to measure that on a continuous basis. So you may want to get more out of your fridge if things wouldn't freeze over or be too soft. So you would have a real-time monitoring of the temperature.
I'm very old school.
Yeah.
I like thermostats.
I know, but if you had it on your, digitally,
yeah,
you could
it would
monitor
be beautiful. Applications.
Because then you don't know if the thermostat is working. There are a whole bunch of things. The other thing is, you're at the shop. You want a picture of what is in your fridge so that you're able to buy the right things or have an idea of the kinds of stuff you want to buy. Or you want to have chips in the different products telling when they're out, they can be ordered automatically or come to you. Remember to buy this.
I have a wife.
Okay.
So basically,
we're
that
open
takes
for
care of it.
questions. And I'm sure you have a lot of other ideas, creative ideas on why IoT and fridges can live together. But to the issues of resilience, questions of risk management and cyber.
And cyber.
Not or, and cyber. Yeah. Any questions, comments on this presentation?
Okay. If it's a bit scary, we're right there.
Did we see a hand somewhere? I did not see a hand. There's no volunteer.
Let's point fingers.
Okay.
Let's make them really nervous.
No, let's not do that. We're in Finland. Let's not do that.
Fair enough.
But you're raising similar issues raised by at least two of our speakers yesterday.
Yes.
Gus Hunt on resilience, and Mr. Ahmadi talking to us about boxing, and also
very interesting.
taking a strategy that is smart to map your risks and prioritize them. Don't overspend on what is not, a present and immediate danger and an expensive thing.
And is it that the weirdest sentence coming from a person whose job and compensation is based on selling the things?
Yeah,
but it's true.
But you see this more concretely maybe than they do at IBM. Is it something that customers find difficult to do this mapping out, prioritization, or is there a good process within IBM and your colleagues to help them do that? Or
so we have people who are phenomenally qualified to do that, and I'm actually very, very happy to say that during the sessions here, I met some of my customers. Mm-hmm. Might I go as far as to say friends, who are extremely good at this. They got it. That's what they do. You don't do anything unless it creates a benefit. You don't buy the thing because of the thing. Right. You buy to mitigate the risk. Mm. And it doesn't mean that you're necessarily trying to prevent the risk, because that's a very difficult thing. It's to minimize the potential of that risk coming to fruition, or having the backup plan. Right. As Maersk did. So what happens when the thing happens? Reaction plan, communications plan, CSER, everything.
They were a resilient organization.
Phenomenally beautiful. So fair enough, something happened that no one foresee. We haven't seen anything quite like it before. Could they have invested in a thing that would have prevented the thing? I don't think that's a relevant question. Yeah. They had a strategy, they implemented it. Sadly, it failed, but they reacted, and they reacted phenomenally. So
and that's what we wish to everybody here.
Yeah.
So when it happens, you're ready.
Fantastic.
Yeah, Pekka, we thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
And this is a very important speech for me. Okay. So what I'm going to do is what I've always done, and I have a lot of friends now in the audience. And what friends do, friends take pictures. So join me for a selfie.
Selfie. Say IBM.
Yeah.
Hey.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. IBM.
Cool.
There we go.
Give thank
you so
hand.
much.
Hey, thank you, Pekka.
Thank you.
One more time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.